Assalamualaikum. A warm welcome to all the students of class 7th. We are again here for a video lecture. Hope for your good health. Today we will start U3. Let us go to the poem Sympathy, page 61 of your course book. First we will see who is the poet of the poem. The poet of the poem is Charles Mackay. Charles Mackay was a Scottish poet, journalist, and songwriter. He was born in Scotland on 27th of March 1814. He spent much of his early life in France. Coming to London in 1834, he engaged in journalism. Now let us move towards the poem. The poem consists of 16 lines in total. These lines are not divided into stanzas. Here they are divided into meaningful segments for the purposes of this summary, in order to make the poem easier to follow and understand. Now you can look towards your books. I will read first 4 lines of the poem. I lay in sorrow deep distrusted, my grief a proud man heard. His looks were cold, he gave me cold, but not a kindly word. These are first 4 lines of the poem. Now I will go towards the explanation of these lines. In these lines, the poet describes an incident where he was lying on the ground. Perhaps he was injured. In any case, it is clear that he was experiencing some kind of suffering. As a result, he was sorrowful and depressed. He needed help. As he was crying out in his grief, a proud man heard the sound of his voice and stopped to help him. The poet could figure out that he prided himself on his wealth, because the only way in which the man helped him was to provide him with money to get himself treated. Apart from that, there was no emotion as such on the man's face. He did not speak to the poet at all and did not try to console him either. This was the explanation of the first 4 lines of the poem. Now moving towards next 4 lines. My sorrow passed, I paid him back. The gold he gave me, then stood erect and spoke my thanks and blessed his charity. In these lines, the poet described what happened to him after he had recovered from the previously described incident. He says that his bad time had come to an end and he was able to repay the man who had helped him in the form of returning the money he had taken from the poet, or he had given to the poet. After repaying him, the poet stood upright with his head held high and thanked him. In addition to this, the poet offered the man what he had not offered to the poet, a kind word. The poet tells the man that God will certainly reward for his charity. Moving to next 4 lines. I lay in want, in grief and pain. A poor man passed by my way. He bound my head, he gave me bread, he watched me night and day. If we see towards the above lines, the poet describes an incident that is very similar to the one he had described at the beginning of the poem. He says that he had been lying on the ground, injured as before. He was as sad as he had been back then. He was also in lot of pain. He desperately wanted some help. A poor man was walking by that place and he stopped to help the poet. Instead of giving the poet money as the proud man had, he bandaged the poet's injured head. The poor man bandaged the poet's injured head and gave him some food and drink to restore his health. He stayed by the poet's bedside in the daytime as well as night time till he had recovered fully, till the poet had recovered fully. Now moving to the next four lines. How shall I pay him back for all he did to me? God is great, but greater for is heavenly sympathy. The poet wonders how he will pay back to the poor man who had taken such good care of the poet. He owes the man something much more complex than a pile of notes or coins. What he owes the man isn't even anything that has a physical manifestation or has a physical importance. Therefore, it will be rather difficult to repay the man. This is when the poet comes to the great realization. He understands that the value of sympathy is much more than the money. Money can certainly help you out in your time of need, but sympathy from a fellow being can lift your spirits and give you strength to fight against harsh circumstances. So no one can put a price tag on sympathy, for it is invaluable. If we look at the themes of the poem, or the themes sympathy poem shows us that our first one is physical and emotional needs of man. This poem shows us the physical and emotional needs of a man. A man has both physical and emotional needs. When a man is going through a tough time, when a man is going through a difficult situation or hard time, it is not just his body but also his mind that has to be taken care of. Just as a man must keep up his immunity just as a man must keep up his immunity in order to be able to recover from injuries and diseases, he must also be mentally strong so that no situation makes him feel helpless. If we see on the next theme of the poem, that the poem shows us that is the two kinds of charity, the proud man and the poor man. In this poem, there were two persons who met with the poem. In this poem, the first one was a proud man and the second one was a poor man. Represent the two different kinds of charity. The first kind was of the proud man, consists of financial help, that is, he helped the poet with only money. Money can certainly help us to get out of distressful situations or harsh condition or worst situation or tough time, but it does not give us strength to fight against those situations. On the other hand, the second kind of charity was of a poor man, that consists of human sympathy and not the money. This kind of charity does not have this kind of charity does not have this this kind of charity is very much invaluable. It is invaluable charity. We cannot repay the charity given by the poor man to the poet in terms of he took a great care of the poet when he was injured. So the charity of poor man was payable. So he was not able to pay back his charity, as sympathy, good care cannot be given back to anybody. So these were the two themes of the poem Sympathy. So I have told you the summary of the poem by line. Also I have told you about the themes of the poem. Also look at your page of the book. On page 62 there is given the glossary. You have to go through it, learn the meanings of glossary. Also if you will be having any problem, you can comment me in WhatsApp. Thank you. Have a good day.